Hey guys, Brett here, connecting from UbiCentral, and today I'm going to be giving my impressions of The Crew 2. Now, before we get started, I just want to let everyone know I am not the biggest racing gamer out there. I've only played Forza Horizon 3, The Crew, and some older Need for Speed games. So if you're looking for some in-depth details about tire traction in The Crew 2, you've definitely come to the wrong place. So with that said, let's get started. So I'm going to be honest, I didn't enjoy the first Crew. While it's certainly not a bad game, I just had more fun with Forza Horizon 3, especially when playing with friends. With that said, I think The Crew 2 is much better than the original in almost every way, at least when it comes to gameplay. The story, not so much. In the first game, there's an actual story, and while it's not the best at times, you can tell they at least tried. In the sequel, it's basically the same thing as the Forza Horizon games. You start off with virtually no followers, and when you complete races or objectives, you grow your fan base and more things start to unlock. And there's nothing wrong with that, but we've seen it before, and I was just hoping for something more unique. Also, the cutscenes in the first game just look better because they're CG, whereas The Crew 2 is all in-game. It's not really a big deal because The Crew 2 flows a lot nicer, but it is worth mentioning. As far as in-game visuals go, The Crew 2 is probably the best looking open world racing game out there, which is pretty impressive given how big the map actually is. I would definitely say some areas look better than others, and the time of day can have a decent impact as well, but overall the graphics are definitely impressive. Well, as long as your character isn't on screen. Cars not only look better, but they also feel better to drive. I felt like each car handled the way they were supposed to. I mean, obviously I have to use my imagination for a McLaren because, well, I don't own one, but it was definitely an improvement over the first game. Also, when you upgrade engine parts or your tires, for example, it actually feels like it's making a difference when it comes to the handling and power. It doesn't feel like it's just a tacked on feature to make you go faster. Each part actually impacts something specifically. As you all probably know by now, there isn't just cars, there's also planes and boats. To be honest, during my session, I probably drove a car about 80% of the time, flew a plane for about 15%, and then drove a boat for about 5%. For me personally, driving a car just felt better, but it was definitely fun to switch into a plane and just see how big an entire city was, and also look at it from a different perspective. The plane I flew was surprisingly challenging to control, but not in that annoying way. There's a learning curve to it, which is kind of nice. Boats, on the other hand, all kind of felt the same and weren't really that interesting, at least to me. There's definitely nice areas for boats, but overall, I feel like most people will be spending their time in a car or a plane, especially when it comes to races, as they just feel more challenging. Also, I know microtransactions are always a big subject when it comes to video games, and I honestly feel like The Crew 2 doesn't really force them. I played the game for 5 hours, and I was able to purchase 3 different cars, and I also got some nice upgrades in the process. Will microtransactions save you some time? Definitely. But the game is fun, and I felt like I was earning just the right amount for what I was putting in. All in all, The Crew 2 is a really fun game. If you have a group of friends, which I don't, I really think it will make the experience 10 times better. While the story is generic, the gameplay is an improvement over the first, and there's a ton of variety when it comes to vehicles. If you haven't already, I highly recommend signing up for the beta just so you can get a better idea of what to expect. Anyways, that's going to bring us to the end of this video. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all later.